Justice failed us today. It failed us in a way that it has been failing us for generations.
You are looking live at downtown Louisville right now, where protests are dying down. And breaking tonight, Louisville police saying 2 of their own have been shot. Protesters are upset with the decision not to charge anyone for Breonna Taylor's death.
Local 12's David Winter has been with protesters all night. He joins us now live from Louisville. And David, it's unclear at this time if those shootings are connected to the protests, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely true, Kyle. We do not know whether those shootings were connected to the protests, but we do know that 2 officers were shot. It was happening about a mile away from here. You can see that the police here have just pushed away the protesters out of the central square. It sounds like they may have just deployed a chemical agent to try and disperse them. They, about 2 hours ago, told the crowd that this was an illegal assembly because they were here after curfew, and they successfully pushed about 24 protesters out of this square. The square had about 1,000 earlier. They were hurling water bottles at the police. There was no reaction at that time, but now they've just pushed the protesters out, and it appears that they have dispersed them relatively by force. Well, there was so much emotion here, so much aggravation by the protesters at that grand jury decision not to charge any of the 3 officers who executed that no-knock warrant with the death of Breonna Taylor.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
The marching began shortly after the grand jury's decision.
My heart is actually aching for the family just to get that verdict, and knowing that all this time they've been waiting to get justice, and it wasn't served today in the courtroom.
Ationda Smith drove here from Michigan for today's decision, but we met people from as far away as Houston and New York.
Are you Cameron? You did not do your job. We are not okay.
But most of the people here tonight are from Louisville, and many of them, like KJ Johnson, have been on this plaza since Breonna was killed.
I'm beyond hurt, okay? I'm beyond hurt. And the city is beyond hurt.
Some came to vent.
It's sort of like a myriad of emotions that I'm feeling right now, from anger to sadness to disbelief. I think we kind of all were expecting the worst, but I think with it being announced, it kind of hit us all pretty hard.
Others to try and keep things from getting out of hand.
I believe in peace. I believe in people reasoning together.
But most want to simply let as many people as possible know that they are not okay with the decision not to charge anyone for the death of Breonna Taylor.
So you've been out here 121 days. Are you going to go home tonight at curfew?
I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
And we will have to just wait and see what happens here. They did deploy a chemical agent. You can feel it in the air right now. Several people around me are coughing, and the police have successfully pushed all of the protesters out of the central square. But at this point, no more arrests in the central square. We'll just say again, as that young lady said, have to wait and see. Reporting live from Louisville, David Winter, back to you.
Hey, David, quick question for you. When we were looking at those live pictures earlier tonight, the group of protesters seemed pretty large. I know the curfew started at 9 o'clock. Did you see the majority of them then go home? I see some still behind you tonight, but how did that work out?
Yeah, so at one point at about 6, 7 o'clock this evening, there were about 1,000 people out here, but then that quickly dwindled when the approaching curfew came. And then it got down to only about a handful of people that were here, and then it started building back up again to about 24. And now you can see this is what we've ended up with.
All right, David, thank you so much. We know the city of Louisville under a curfew from 9 to 6:30 for the next 72 hours. Paula?